We need to turn to World Athletics Athlete of the Year. The top 10 nominees are out. And unfortunately, the way this podcast is done, you guys dragged around at the beginning. I told you I had something I had to go to, and now I will not be able to discuss this. So I will look like the bad guy when I actually was not the one who was the cause of the delay. Sorry for the unprofessionalism. I just want to get it out there. I'm looking at this list, kind of show notes we have, and it says Women's Athlete of the Year, Rojas or McLaughlin. And I'm like, what? Hassan is the Athlete of the Year. I will just get that out there. What she did at the Olympics is unprecedented. She should be Athlete of the Year. Convince me if I'm wrong. Men's side, is it really bad? Am I like sexist if I say Warholm deserves it, but McLaughlin doesn't? But hey, nobody tripled at the Olympics on the men's side. All right, guys. I got to go. Fans, email me, weejo@letsrun.com, or call me. I check my voicemails.
We'll soldier on without you, but John, so Weldon had some interesting takes. And, if you look at the list, let's start with the women. I'm the one that put Rojas and McLaughlin. I think it was a mistake not to have Hassan. I just wasn't thinking. But the list has come out. I'll name all the names. Valerie Allman, Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Sifan Hassan, Faith Kipyegon, by the way, had an incredible season, but no world records. Maria Lasinska, Sydney McLaughlin, Shani Miller-Weibo, Athing Mo, Yalma Rojas, and Elaine Thompson-Herah. Elaine Thompson-Herah, actually, pretty damn good. But, none of those women were, like, undefeated in their event like Sydney McLaughlin was. Rojas set the world record in the triple jump, won all of her competitions except for one. Also set a Spanish record in the long jump.
Rojas? Venezuelan record. She's not Spanish.
Excuse me, Venezuelan record. And then you've got McLaughlin with what? 2 world records. And Hassan with 1 world record that is no longer a world record, but 2 golds and a bronze. So I'll start by saying this. To me, off the table immediately, I know she was undefeated. I know she set 2 world records. McLaughlin is not getting a vote from me, and I don't think she should get a vote from anybody. She only competed in 4 competitions. That's not enough. So think about it. This is the NBA or the MLB season. If you show up, and only play 1/3 of the season or half the season, you're not going to win the Major League Baseball MVP award, no matter how good you are. You could hit 40 homers in 80 games, or 35 homers in 80 games, and no one's going to give you the award because you missed half the season. She didn't do enough meets. She should be ineligible for a season award, in my opinion. Do you agree with that take?
I don't think she should be ineligible. I would still have her in my top 5, but I would not vote for her to win for the same reason. Yeah, she had 3 400 hurdles finals. World leading 52.83 at the Music City Track Carnival. So that was not even that's one of her races is a domestic US meet against 0 competition. Then she broke the world record in the 2 others to win the Olympic trials and broke it by a lot to win the Olympics. She gets a lot of credit for that. But yeah, it's 3 400 hurdle races. I just think when you have other women like Rojas, who also broke the world record and competed a lot, even Elaine Thompson-Herah. I mean, Elaine Thompson-Herah, you got to think her times really are the world records, right? Because she's going up against Flojo. That's the only person who's faster than her in either the 200 or the 100. If you think that she basically ran the 100 and 200 world record, I mean, I have that. She lost a few times to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, but I would say my top 4 is Hassan, McLaughlin, Rojas, and Thompson-Herah. And yeah, I think you can even say McLaughlin should be in the top 3, but I think, I don't know, in terms of winner, I'm probably still leaning towards Rojas. I mean, she was just the total dominance in her event. She did lose in Monaco because of the final 3 format, but she broke the world record in the Olympic final. She's just so much better than every other triple jumper. Like Hassan, in some ways, Hassan kind of gets penalized for running the 1500, though, right? If she just stuck with the 5K and 10K, I believe, let me look at the results.
No, she's not getting penalized. Weldon's rewarding her for trying the triple. She got 3 medals. No one's ever done that. You're viewing the loss as a negative. He's viewing it as a positive.
Okay, I guess that's fair. I would view it as a positive as well, because we've never seen a woman have a season with the kind of range she had. 353 for 1,500, 1427 for 5,000, okay. But then 2906, world record at the time for 10K. She was undefeated in the 5K and 10K. And she was third at the Olympics in 1,500. So, and she had a world record, though it was almost immediately broken. Yeah, I think Rojas. I'm kind of tempted to say Thompson-Herah just because those 100 times are just insane. Like, I know she got beat a few times, but that late season tear she went on, the problem is she wasn't always the best woman in her event. Like, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price beat her a few times. I think it's probably Rojas, but it's a very lively debate.
It's a shame that Flojo's time's out there, because that's gonna kill Thompson-Herah's chances. Maybe if you're technically doing it, she deserves it, but come on, she didn't set the world record. She's not going to beat these other women that did set the world record. You know, if you're looking at Hassan versus Rojas, Hassan beat a world record that lasted, a world record that wasn't. How old was the 10,000 world record when she beat it?
5 years old.
She beats a 5-year-old world record that lasts 48 hours. Rojas beats a world record that has stood since 1995. So I can see giving it to her. And, I kind of just assumed it would, without even looking at it and thinking about how few meets McLaughlin did. Coming in, I was thinking, the voting's out. It's going to be McLaughlin or Hassan. That's what I was thinking. And then I saw a tweet by David Monty saying he voted for 2 field event athletes. By the way, I think everyone can vote. Fans, it's open for voting if you want to vote. So I can see both. I think that winning the 5 and the 10 in the Olympics is not that unprecedented. The world record, what does it mean because of the super shoes? The 1,500 is impressive, but she didn't win it. So it's cool that she did it. I can see either one. I think it's got to be one of those two, in my opinion. I think it will come down to them, hopefully. Moving to the men.
Robert, one last stat on the women. I think it has to be Rojas, because I just looked up the world all-time list. She had 4 of the 5 greatest jumps of all time this year. 1567 world record in Tokyo. Then 1552 in Lausanne, 1548 in Zurich, and 1543 in Andorra. She also had an indoor world record. So I think you add all those things together. I do think it's Rojas, but if you vote for Hassan, I don't think that's a stupid vote either.
But she did lose a meet this year. How much do you hold that against her?
I don't hold it a ton, because the one meet she lost, which was the Monaco Diamond League, she had the longest jump. She jumped 15:12 during the regular competition. And if I'm reading this result right, she just lost because she fouled in the one jump off at the end.
Yeah, then give it to her. Because Hassan lost meets too. So, good point. So, Rojas is yours and I pick. But Hassan had an amazing year. And then moving to the men, I will name off all the people: Joshua Cheptegei, Ryan Crouser, Mondo Duplantis, Jacob Ingebrigtsen, Eli Kipchoge, Pedro Pichardo, Daniel Stahl, Metodist Tintagolu, the long jump champion, Damian Warner, and Carson Warholm. Obviously, some people had amazing years. But it's going to come down to Warholm or Crouser, right? There's really no debating that.
If you vote for someone other than one of those two men, you should lose your vote from all future World Athletics Athlete of the Year awards, because, it has to be one of those two. Also, we maybe need a better name for this award, because the World Athletics World Athlete of the Year is extremely redundant. So some way to smooth that out. Maybe just call them the World Athlete of the Year. I don't know. So the case for Warholm, it was similar to McLaughlin in that he broke the world record twice in his event, and the second time by an enormous amount. Went from 46.70 down to 45.94 in Tokyo. But the difference between him and McLaughlin is he raced more frequently. He ran 3 races on the Diamond League circuit, including the Diamond League final. He won all of them. And then he also ran Berlin, and he ran the Olympics. So he ran 5 400 hurdles finals. He also set the world record for the 300 hurdles, 33.26. So he didn't compete a ton, but I think he competed enough to merit consideration. And then you're going up against Crouser. Now, Crouser also broke the world record. he now has the 3 best throws of all time. He had the 16 farthest throws of the year. World record indoors and out. And in the Olympic final, he did not break the world record, but he threw the second best throw ever. He threw 22.80 4 times, which only 7 men in history have ever thrown that far. His worst throw in the Olympic final would still have broken the old Olympic record. So the case for Crouser is just absolute dominance at the highest level. Like, he's just consistently throwing all-time marks, and he's competing a ton, and he never lost.
Well, what's the case for Warholm? Isn't that the same thing, except he didn't compete a ton?
Yeah, the case for Warholm is that, well, one, he had 2 world records, but then his other, I guess 47.08 in Monaco, that's a good all-time mark. And he ran 47.30 in the semis in Tokyo, which is, we used to think 47.30 was really fast. So I guess, he ran 47.35 to win Zurich. Those are all like very fast all time. But he just didn't compete quite as much as Crouser.
Yeah, it's interesting. Only the 5, hurdle races. So I ripped McLaughlin for she did 3?
3 finals, and Warholm had 5.
So barely enough for Warholm. But I'm going to give you a lot more credit if you're doing stuff after the Olympics. I feel like you're promoting the sport when people are paying attention. And they both broke long-standing world records. I mean, the men's 400 hurdle world record.
That stood since 1992. And the shot put, I believe, was 1990.
I think it's like, how do you decide between those two?
Well, I don't think you need to say, like, they were both long-time world records, and the shot put was also by a convicted doper. So you could say that, it's hard to say exactly. It was from 1990, but they both broke 2 of the toughest world records in the book. I think you could say that. The thing that, when I initially saw this, I put on Twitter, my vote was going to be Warholm, then Crouser, and then I had Duplantis third. The more I think about it, though, I'm leaning towards Crouser, just because he was just so utterly dominant, and he did have the world record, and he had 2 other throws that would have been world records if he hadn't already broken the world record. Whereas the case for Warholm is 45.94 might be the greatest race we've ever seen by anyone. So it's just how much, like, Warholm had the single greatest performance by an athlete this year, maybe by an athlete this decade. But does that overwhelm, and he did it on the biggest stage possible in the Olympic final, does that overwhelm Crouser, who I think had the greatest season, but his Olympic performance, while exceptional, was not one of the greatest, of all time in any event?
I was wondering that, like, do we ding him for not setting the world record in the Olympics? But no, we should not ding him, because think about it. It's World Athletics World Athlete of the Year. We're taking their body of work. So why does it matter that they didn't set the world record in the Olympics? He already had the world record. He had 5 throws that would be the Olympic record. And I'm going to reward people for the indoor competition. The more I think about it, I think David Monti got it right. I'm going to go with Crouser. I just think the more competitions, plus the shoes, let's be honest about it. We don't know how much the spikes are impacting it. There's nothing about the spikes that are helping the throws. So Crouser, the field event guys don't get a lot of publicity anyways. Let's give it to the 2 field eventers. There we go. Congratulations to them.
All right, speaking of world records, I think we need to talk about the beer mile world record, Robert. Because this was, if it wasn't for Gaudet, this would have been the performance of the weekend.